on Star 98.3 and 97.7 The Bay.
Yeah, that's right.
Morning.
It's 12 minutes after 7 o'clock and it's Friday. That's what we're talking about.
That's good times right there, people.
We've been waiting all week for that. John is here. Oh, I didn't do the thing.
Here's Johnny.
Yay!
I felt naked for a minute there.
Yeah,
without my
I
intro.
know. I'm sorry. Something felt very off. Welcome, sir, and glad to have you here with us. It is
morning.
the weekend. It is summertime. This is it. This is it, baby.
Yes.
It's popcorn and dark theaters.
Yes, and it's been scary times for theater owners, but this weekend is probably going to be one of the bigger weekends of the summer.
Good.
For any theater owners, because Inside Out 2,
Ooh.
probably the biggest kids movie of the summer,
Is that
coming
Pixar,
out.
John? Or is it Disney? What?
Is that the one where the little
That's a good
emotions
question.
are driving the
yeah,
show? Okay,
yeah, it's you're inside this little girl named Riley's head.
Yeah, and there's
she's
anger
got
and
all the
fear and
little
envy
emotions.
and yeah.
Yeah. See, now it's on
Is
the
it
tip of my tongue
Pixar?
whether it's Pixar or not. I can't believe I can't pull this, but
That's all right.
I think it is.
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
think
not
it
positive.
is too. Is Riley grown up now since?
Yes,
Inside?
yes. So she's,
okay.
Oh.
and we get to meet new emotions this time around, like
Ooh.
anxiety.
Hi, anxiety.
Yeah, embarrassment.
Oh.
So she's more, and this Inside Out 1 was a great movie for kids because it really, it was, number one, it was a lot of fun.
Sure.
And it was funny and it was emotional. I mean, there's one scene with one of her imaginary friends during the movie that is just, if you don't cry, then you have no soul.
Oh.
But it had all of that, but it really taught kids about their emotions. which is
Wasn't
something
Lewis
I think,
Black one of the voices in the original one?
Yes, he's in this one as
Anger?
well. He's Anger.
Oh,
of course he's Anger. What
he's
else
so
would he be?
Funny.
Yeah. But, now Riley's a little bit more grown up. She's more...
It's Pixar.
It is Pixar, okay. It's further into her preteen years. And all those pubescent type emotions are coming
Sure.
out. And it's, it's not as, I guess, complex would be the word I'd use. It's more straightforward, I think, than the first movie, but it is so much fun. It's
Really?
It's exactly what you'd expect a sequel to be. Like, it's not as good as the first, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, it's almost there. It's the same ride. It's just you kind of know where it's going. So
I got you.
I was thinking about this the other day, just by happenstance. Tell me if this makes sense. I love when a movie ages. Okay, when its audience can age with the movie.
yeah.
But I also wonder if there isn't a market for that where the movie doesn't age. What you could do with an animated movie. Like you could release two at the same time. Maybe you'd just be splitting the market. I don't know. But one where, it's almost like Peter Pan. They never grow up. And it's always that time frame. That's what it is. That's what's happening. And then this other one where they actually are.
Yeah, something
progressing.
like
like
The Simpsons
Maverick,
or something
like
like that.
Top Gun and Maverick.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
So that would be when they're growing, but then The Simpsons would be the other one. So it's always in the
they're
same
always
area.
7,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Bart's always 7 or 8 or whatever he is, and
Yeah, you'd think that would be the norm, honestly, because you wouldn't have to deliver something new necessarily. It'd be easier
you've got
for
the
them.
audience,
Yeah.
and the audience can watch, and if they want to age with the franchise, they can.
Yeah.
But then for the new audience,
Yeah.
the new group of 7-year-olds,
Well, James Bond is kind of that way, no?
Yeah, a little
yeah,
bit,
James,
little bit.
James Bond's kind of that. But, especially in the world of kids' movies, you absolutely could have that. Because, kids do not, I don't think I'm saying anything, controversial here. Kids don't have discerning taste in this stuff. They'll watch the same video over and over
Oh my
again.
God.
and over
Yeah,
and
you
over.
ain't kidding.
But they do know what's funny and what's not. But you don't have to work as hard to get a new idea in there. They can
Right.
watch the same thing over and over again. So,
And you like this Inside Out too.
it was very good. I
Okay.
had a lot of fun with it. And
Age, give me the ages.
I'd say up to probably 11 or 12.
So little guys up to 11
Little guys
or
up
12.
to 11 or 12. Then you get between 12 and 22, and they're going to be too cool for it.
When
but-
you're
Right.
when you're critiquing a movie like that, a kids movie, do you ever set your kids down to see what their response is going to be?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Because that's
Yeah.
got to be the best. That's got to be the best barometer right there.
Oh,
are they
100%.
loving it and enjoying it? Then that movie is exactly what it should be.
Yeah, well, and because it's hard to get perspective on that sometimes, because we're in a world where after Toy Story, I think is where it started. Kids movies were started to be judged on whether they could be watched by kids and adults. But
Right.
most of these movies have gotten bad reviews. Like the biggest one that comes to mind is the Emoji Movie. If you remember that
yeah.
one,
Ooh,
it
yeah.
got trashed.
Yeah.
My kids absolutely adored it. They watched it over and over again. And I think
Really?
most kids did because it was a good movie for kids,
Right.
not for the
Adult
35-year-old
critic.
guy from Chicago.
Right.
Right.
You know,
right.
so
Right.
getting that perspective is important a lot of the time. So I'll watch their reactions to it as well.
Now we didn't have you last week. You didn't come in, but how
didn't.
are you liking Acolyte?
I am. So they sent me the first 4 episodes, and
Oh,
it made
you lucky
me.
dog.
You got 4 episodes?
Yeah, and I wish they didn't, because let me tell you what, I have to wait till July now to find out what happens next, because episode 4, when you guys see that, it is a cliffhanger like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, come on!
I used to think that all the review bombing stuff was just movie studios trying to protect themselves, but I see this now, and you realize that a lot of people just need to get a life and realize that things are good, regardless of who's in them or what they're doing. This show is amazing. Like, number one, my
We've
favorite
seen
thing.
the first 2 episodes, and we love it. I love it.
My favorite
I thought it
thing
was great.
in the prequels was seeing a bunch of Jedi in one place with their lightsabers out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there was only ever Luke, and even in the sequels, there's only ever Rey, really. So that was just awesome to see them at their height, and this is exactly that. And you get to see them in a different light. Like they're more. They're not Gestapo, but they're trending that way.
Yeah.
You can see that they're
A little
like,
heavy-handed.
yeah, and sure of their place in the universe. Like,
Right.
This is, there's one point where they say, oh, well, we have every right to take children and test them. It's like, oh, we have a right to come and take your kids if we think they can be Jedi.
Right.
The show's been amazing so far. I've liked it a whole lot. The performances are great. Saul, the main Jedi, who's was the main character in Squid Game. A lot of people
love him, yeah.
Yeah, he's really, and it always amazes me. Jackie Chan does this a lot too, but he doesn't speak English, and the only English he knows is what's in his script. But you
Wow,
wouldn't
really?
guess by watching him perform. Yeah, like how do you perform words with the right inflection
Emotion.
without knowing what they mean? It blows my mind that people are
That's
able to do
crazy.
that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak English.
He doesn't speak English. So,
wow.
and he may speak a little bit more now, but when they were shooting at least, he didn't speak English at all.
Wow.
But yeah, TV is kind of where it's at this weekend. I mean, Inside Out 2 is for the kids, obviously, but the adults, you don't have to leave your home because last night, The Boys Season 4 premiered. The penultimate season of The Boys. They've now said that Season 5 will be the last. I think my main descriptor for this show last time we talked about it last year was it's just so wet.
Oh God!
And I think
See,
that's the best way to put it.
I stopped watching The Boys after the first season because it just got gross, and I was like,
Oh, that's funny because it gets worse in the second, third
See,
season. It's
Sure.
better in
Yeah.
this season. It's less so this season, but it is.
It's just
they've,
gross.
They've tapped into something amazing here because the horror of this show, and it's not a horror show; it's an action show, obviously. But you've got Homelander, who's essentially Superman, and a psychotic Superman at that.
Terrible
And
Superman.
so you've got this guy walking around who knows he could literally end anybody's life at any time, probably take over the world, and the only reason he isn't is because he doesn't want to right now.
right.
But that could change, and you can see it changing in his eyes at any moment. So there's a level of tension in season 4 that we haven't seen before. And if you're like me and you're of the type that's good with that kind of stuff, then you're gonna love this season.
Let me ask you this, because this is what I heard leading up to this. I haven't seen it. I don't know if this is valid. Everybody's saying Bad Boys is going to save the summer big blockbuster. People are going to go because Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Well, they've kind of gone. I mean, it
Kind
came
of.
out last week,
Right.
and it got decent numbers. I mean,
They got
it's
like
done,
over 50, I think.
Yeah, but it wasn't but 5 short years ago that a $50 million opening would be a horrible bomb.
Yeah, a loss.
Literally, $100 million opening weekend was the bar for being a decent movie.
Right.
And granted that's inflated some because they'd only got that level in the 2000s, but it's crazy how things have changed. Inside Out 2, I think they're going to realize that it's not the future of cinema is not on us adults, it's on the kids because they're the ones that can get us out to the theater.
Am I the only
Right.
one that thinks that there's some really low hanging fruit here, and I don't know why nobody has grasped it? Okay, Will Smith. If I'm thinking of Will Smith and big blockbusters, I don't think Bad Boys. I think more along the lines of Independence Day. And here's where I'm thinking. Ready? Because everywhere you turn in the news, what do you see? You see actual UFO videos.
Yeah.
Right? So you could interlace it with actual video shot by the government that everybody's talking about, and here they come, and they're really okay. So now it's happening, and we need Will Smith is what we need. And here he goes off to fight the aliens again. There's a movie.
Oh, like a meta type situation where it's War of the Worlds.
Well,
but
I'm thinking a la Maverick.
In the last movie,
Like-
they said we were taking the fight to them. That's what the last movie was.
well-
and he died in the last movie. Will Smith did.
yeah, Will Smith is dead.
And
Well, they can bring him back.
Yeah, they've done that
they got the
before.
technology. Because I thought the follow up to it wasn't that great.
no, I think if you could actually, they could just act like it never came out, and people really wouldn't be able to argue.
It's just a reboot, right?
Like people wouldn't remember. Like there was no Independence Day 2. Oh yeah, maybe I'm just thinking that in my head because it was not memorable at all.
Go find the people who did Maverick and say, look, let's make a movie on par with that.
Yeah.
And make it Independence Day. And redo it.
Yeah, I mean, but Hollywood always learns the wrong lessons from things, right? Like, so Maverick comes out and they learn, well, the lesson they learn is, oh, people want old stuff back again. They didn't learn that people want the things they loved to be understood and redone and recapture that same feeling that
Right.
you had originally. Like, they just think, oh, good thing, redo thing. That's it.
Yeah, right.
But I know we
Yeah.
gotta go here in a second, but we can't go without mentioning House of the Dragon season 2.
Yeah.
Premieres this Sunday.
I never watched season 1.
It was so good. You should
Was
watch
it?
Yeah.
The beginning.
All the weird stuff you guys watch, and you're not watching The Boys or
You know
House
what
of
it
the
is?
Dragon.
It's a commitment of time, and I
Yeah.
find that I meter out my time very stingily. Is that the word?
Stingily, yeah.
Yeah. I'm
and-
rewatching Ted Lasso. That's what I'm doing.
That's what she's
That's.
doing.
I mean, you know what? That's good for your mental health, if nothing else.
It really
Yeah.
is. Yes, that's wonderful. But
But I did like the dragon thing. I just didn't give it enough time.
in the
and I was
beginning,
like,
it was kind of hard to.
she didn't dig it, and I was like, I'm not going to fight with her.
I could try it again.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, there's some weird things that are accepting, like the uncle niece love and things like that. But
Sure.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I mean, the first one.
Yeah,
that was the
they've
brother
all-
sister
it's-
thing.
It's not a new thing to the series, but you know, it did take an episode or two to kind of detach from Game of Thrones and realize you're in a different place. But it's
Right.
It's
Good.
You know, it's up there. It's right up
Okay.
there with Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, good to know.
7:25. Let's see what the weather's doing.
Southern Maryland.